For these and many other reasons, I finally get to present Mr. James Ray a key to the city of Grand Forks.
He's been chasing me for about 5 months trying to give me the key to the city. But when I landed here the first time as a board member of Cirrus Design, and we attended just such a ceremony as this, and Alan Clapmeyer, the president, got on one of these cats and dug the first hole over at the tech park over there. I don't know whether they're going to get Tom on one of these machines to, but the times that I've been coming here to associate with the young students, and particularly with birdmen and throttle jockeys, is what's kept bringing me back. And I've had the key to the city through the generosity of so many of the people and the that are involved with aerospace and in the city itself, that I really, this key is just a little trophy I'll put on my wall, but I've had the key in the, from the people that I've been associated with here. And it's kind of my surrogate home.
Thank you.
Mr. Ray was a very special person for me, not only because of his personal friendship, but because of the tremendous support that he provided for the Odegaard School and the University of North Dakota.
First of all, it's a big smile when I think about James Ray, because he was such a part of growing the Center for Innovation and the School of Entrepreneurship since he first came on campus in 1997.
When I heard the news about James Ray passing, I truly lost a good friend. It was really fun working with James. The thing I loved about him the most was he always had such a passion for students, and he wanted to make a difference in their lives.
And we are really lucky that he thought we were pretty important here at UND. We are very, very fortunate. I mean, what a legend.
Mr. Ray was truly a Renaissance man. He was wealthy in so many ways beyond his investments, but he was so wonderfully generous.
On a personal note, I mean, it was a very, very difficult time here at the university, here at the Odegaard School. And here's James Ray. Well, think of his last name, Ray. He was a ray of light. He really was. He was going to fund a very large scholarship, the largest scholarship that UND had seen for one student, 4-year full ride, including flying. And that's when I really met James Ray.
James was extremely generous as far as understanding what our mission was at the Odegaard School and investing in us. His generosity is going to live on forever at the Odegaard School in regards to scholarships and the buildings that he's invested in. Very generous person.
This was his favorite place, between the aerospace school and the entrepreneur and the kids. He just loved the kids, you know. He could have done whatever he wanted with the money, but he just really loved the kids and the young professionals.
And when we did the scholarship presentation, we made it a real family affair. A dinner in my home and then the presentation. And I think that really meant a lot to James, and that just started things off. His love for the students, his desire to help the Odegaard School. And as I say, he came at a difficult time, but it was wonderful to have him with us. And so I would really smile. When you say James Ray, I smile.
He was demanding yet caring. He respected honesty and integrity. He was incredibly adaptable.
For me, being in the philanthropic business, the word would be inspiring. You take a look at the magnitude of his lifetime, both in terms of its longevity, but the impact that he had in so many different aspects of his life, all which rolled up into his high desire to leave a legacy of impact on young people. And how fortunate were we at the University of North Dakota to have that fall primarily into aerospace, but other aspects of campus as well.
We cannot thank Mr. James Ray enough for the impact that he had on this university and all the lives that were impacted as a result of his efforts and his gifts.
You know, he was just a fun guy. You know, they'd have a cork around Jim's neck, for example. Mr. Ray would have this cork, like a champagne-looking cork hanging around on a chain, and you'd kind of look at it and maybe not say anything, but Mr. Ray would start talking, and suddenly he'd grab the cork and put it in his mouth. And he'd have it in his mouth because he knew he was talking too much, needed to be quiet, and was done. And everyone would kind of get a laugh out of it. I mean, he was just a fun guy that way.
He loved to make things fun, poke fun of himself, poke fun of lightness of the world. So that was always fun being around him. He wasn't always 100% serious.
Brain transfer. Mr. Ray, later in his life, was convinced that if you pressed your foreheads together, you could do brain transfer. So I would indulge him. And I'm not sure if he got any smarter, and I'm not sure if I got any smarter, but we still did it.
He had an office. He set up an office in our incubator and brought his dog in, and of course, it was very funny because the university says, you know you can't have dogs in a university building, and I said, you tell him.
Mr. Ray was an extraordinary visionary who converted those visions into actions. He not only was an active participant, but he also demanded that his friends and his business associates, many who were pilots and business legends in their own right, to be involved as well.
It wasn't just one thing. It was anything at the time that he saw what he called the double whammy, where we could really have a big impact on what we're doing and help us generate revenue, not just give a gift and maybe have some benefits for his foundation, but really it was to have a double whammy where it could have an impact on lots of things for us and help us be more self-sustaining and generate revenue off a project later.
What does it mean to have a fuel truck that starts in the morning, which means that you can hit the ground running? It means that we can fly 750 hours a day because of what Jim did for us.
Mr. Ray had tremendous resources, but chose to use those resources to the benefit of others. He was honest, forthright, and serious in his business dealings and his philanthropy, yet held a large capacity for laughter, a keen sense of friendship, and always kept a positive perspective on the important things of life.
The impact of a donor, of someone that he's never met before, how it made me grow into a person, and having that opportunity, it's unheard of. I can't even make up the stuff of the experiences that we had. It was amazing.
Put quite simply, Mr. Ray was an extraordinary person. He left an indelible mark on the Odegaard School and the University of North Dakota, and on all the things he pursued in his life.
He's really touched so many parts of the campus, and you know, everything from the Center for Innovation to the John D. Odegaard School to the Hilton Garden Inn. There's just so many components of the campus that he was involved in.
One morning we were at breakfast and everybody left, and Jim said, who is an unsung hero around here that really helped grow the school? And I said, well, Don Smith, the guy that just left. He says, well, we should do an endowment in Don's name to help the teachers and the unsung. So he wrote the Don Smith Endowment to help people get advanced degrees. And about an hour later, Don comes cruising through the hall. And Jim says, hey, Don, come here. Can you proofread this for me? I gotta send this over to the university. And so Don knew nothing about it. And so he starts to read the letter, and Don starts to get some tears in his eyes. But just another double play, right? Left a legacy for Don, and then helped, I'm sure, hundreds of faculty and teachers here. So
You know, I'm sure people like Mr. Ray are asked all the time to support different projects and different things, and it's hard to determine which ones are good things that they should be supportive, and maybe they all are. But I think people to be good stewards of that generosity is maybe something for a Mr. Ray that would be difficult to determine. And I think that that's definitely something that was proven here at UND, is that we were good stewards of his generosity.
I'd like to leave you with this final thought. This is an excerpt from a book written by Richard Bach. Richard Bach was a pilot and a philosopher, and best known for his book Jonathan Livingston Seagull. In Illusions, Bach writes about the loss of a friend who was a pilot with this passage: "Don't be dismayed by goodbyes. A farewell is necessary before we can meet again. And meeting again after moments or lifetimes is certain for those who are friends." I take great comfort in knowing that I will meet Mr. James C. Ray again.